First rounds could easily be finals. Joshua Filler against Niels Feijen. That is appetizing to say the least. And also, especially that I'm in company with former US Open champion Jeremy Jones.
And interesting here with our break rule, normally it's the one in the side the players are trying to make. Here we saw the corner ball, the wing ball, the two got kicked in. That a lot of times will offer some nice position on the one. It's got a 3-ball hanging, so probably stays offensive here. He's got some. The 3-ball's awfully enticing here, not to try and kind of cannon the cue ball into the 3. Could go for the steep cut on the 1. He's going to try and bank the 1 around. Yeah, watch out, cue ball. We're going to see filler. And a little unfortunate there. Had to turn it loose, and it got a little lost.
Start the clock, please.
Look at the reaction of Feijen. As soon as that white went in, he fully understood the potential damage.
Talking about the Austrians, we kind of overlooked a really nice clearance here by Joshua Filler to get on the board.
A clearance that underlines just how devastating he can be. Niels Feijen knew when he went in off, it was probably going to be his last shot of the rack. Jones looks very focused indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I said it earlier that, you know, I think Josh takes it personal when people are ahead of him.
Joshua
I think things have motivated him to try and get back on top. And of course, this event here last year brought him some great memories. Here's our first golden break, it looks like. And there we have it. So after that scratch, that unfortunate scratch in game number 2, it's been 3 on the spin for Josh Filler with Niels still in his chair, Phil.
Well, I didn't know it at the time, did I? But when he went in off, I was saying about the potential for that scratch to be so costly for the Dutchman, and that's exactly how it's panning out.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, with the field we have, we can say that with the winter break format about all 16 players, but something about the fillers, the SVBs, you know, of course FSR, that you kind of expect a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of punishment after a mistake. Excuse me. Could have came one rail more towards the center. Yeah, interesting shot here on the slick felt. Looks like he's going to draw it and use a couple rails to come at the 8. He's got to watch the speed here. This could be a little heavy. And that's why the shot from the 6 to the 7, even though the 7 was hanging, I didn't quite understand it, Phil. Put him in a position to maybe make a mistake.
And if he does lose this rack, I think it would be the most particularly disappointing one to take.
And this is awkward because you have to address the cue ball to get on the 9, so the bank not the most comfortable way to shoot it. Yeah, we talked about those side pockets last December, right? How difficult they were.
Yes, the middles at the Mosconi Cup were brutal, weren't they? One of the storylines of the whole week. And now this scoreline is looking brutal for Niels Feijen. If all the balls were sitting pretty, then taking your extension might not be such an issue, but here things to work out.
Look how nifty this is, putting the 3 up in front of the corner, maybe offering some type of positional play or a breakout on the 4-5. On this experience, kind of, I see it from Niels. It's obvious to me, shaking off a few mistakes and get through a very difficult rack. Real smart.
Well, who was it who forecasted that this was going to be the scrappiest rack of the match? What a potential run out we are seeing develop.
I think he's going to draw the cue ball past the side, coming 1 rail underneath the 5. Watch for the speed control. That looks pretty nice. You know, it was an unfortunate scratch off of a kiss shot, right, in game 2. And really a missable bank. The mistake was really the position shot more than anything. He's played pretty clean otherwise.
And I think what we're seeing here is going to be a precursor for so many matches in this tournament. Hard to imagine we're going to see a whole bunch of runaways, not with the personnel on show.
Yeah, the upsets are going to be mild just because of the field. We always see them, though. Seems like last year's Whirlpool Masters may have had more upsets early than any I remember.
When he was 5-1 down, the match was quickly getting away from him. Now, though, trailing only 5-4, 46-year-old Niels Feijen is right back in there. Yeah, just a reminder on the rules. Basically, it's a 30-second shot clock in operation for every single rack. You're allowed 1 30-second extension per rack.
This is like ball in hand position here, Phil. You can use the rail to make the draw stroke a little easier, the touch and the speed control just a little better. Filler talked about it in his interview with Carl that, you know, Niels, you know, even though it was early Filler probably as a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, right? Maybe 18, but has a lot of wins against him. So. All right, don't worry about the 8 so much. Make sure. Don't baby it so much trying to hold position. Oh, he went up and down.
Always been a confident shot maker, and who would have thought this? The 9 to lead. No doubts about that one. Niels Feijen, the former champion, is leading the defending champion 6-5 after trailing at his lowest ebb, 5-1.
He's cueing fine. He's playing great. He's got natural 4-rail position on the 7. Yeah, nice shot there. He's going to get perfect on the brown 7 to come naturally. Some 2 to 3 rails for the combination on the 8-9. And what will that be? 6 in a row, Phil?
6 of the best. For a position where we were talking about a possible runaway victory. Now for Filler, any victory would do.
Well, like you talked about, you know, the chance at victory is what he first has to overcome. Niels Feijen, who's made a couple mistakes, but overall has played really well. Looks like if he's willing to hit it slowly, he can kind of throw the 8 back on the 9. Don't want to hit this hard.
Yeah,
8, 9, and all is fine for Niels Feijen.
Got the 2 ball down as a little shaky going into the pocket, but now in a great position, and a player that has a ton of experience at finishing matches. Really smart cue ball, of course, and understands sometimes when you're nervous. That's one thing that is huge in sports, in my opinion, is recognizing and kind of understanding when you're nervous what little differences you make. And I think Niels is on top of that.
After the match, I'm going to speak to Niels, and I'm going to ask him whether the discussion, the disagreement about the break-off and the strength of it lit a fire in the belly and has led to this. He looks like a man inspired.
Yeah, absolutely, and getting a little more into that Terminator walk that is so steady and everlasting, it seems like. And just a little 2-rail position here on the brown 7. The 9 in a great position, so should be able to close the door here shortly.
How many times does Joshua Filler suffer a first-round exit? Very, very rarely.
Yeah, especially in control of the match at one point. It was a big turnaround at 5-1.
This is the best of Nineball, and that was 8 racks in succession for Niels Feijen. I'll tell you what, they call him the Terminator, and he will be back for the quarterfinals. What a performance from the Dutchman.
This is a very interesting match that we're about to witness. Michael's alluding to the World Nineball Championships where Soufi lost out.
And Lechner, of course, runner-up at the US Open, the other of the 2 biggest titles in the sport.
Yeah, and it was both to Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, so they've got a bit of common ground.
Well, that is quite a way to start, Carl.
Yeah, look at this. The cue ball comes off the side rail and hits the 9-ball perfect. We'll get another look in a moment. Well, that's one way to settle the nerves. Here's another look. Watch the cue ball. Look at that. It was going near the side pocket, the cue ball and all, but yeah, the red 3-ball may have just stopped the cue ball, but this is what can happen. Soufi knows this. This is part and parcel of the game of pool. Means the 9-ball goes towards the corner pocket straight away, so that's why the referees are under a little bit of pressure as well out there.
Foul stroke. Ball in.
Okay, so golden break in the first rack. Foul break in rack 3. And Soufi is finally going to get to the table.
Yep, Soufi will have been sat in the chair just biding his time. This is how Mohammad plays. Sees the shot, gets on with it.
So Lechner racing away early on, but the scratch break has proved to be a mini turning point at the start of this match.
Extension, please.
Mentioned his high speed, but taking his time over this one and calling the extension, one of which you're allowed in every rack. Didn't get a look in the first two racks. Got his chance here, and Mohammad Soufi has won it. Lechner's lead is reduced to 2-1.
You wouldn't think he's going to take the bank on into the left centre. Safety shot looks quite easy. Let's him get the cue ball forward. Oh, there you see, playing the hook. Played it well. He's cut out the jump shot, so Soufi's going to be kicking at this one. Yeah, that gap's not big enough for the jump shot. This is a good view, one way up, but he's made a mess of it. Give up ball in hand.
Ball in hand. Please start the clock.
And he's leading 3-1.
Yeah, watch the cue ball here. It goes off the side rail back into the pack.
Oh, he's done it again. He's done it again. 4 breaks in this match, and 2 of them golden. And all of a sudden, it's 4-1, Carl.
Look at the cue ball again. Yeah, it's pretty much identical.
It is. And again, nothing wrong with it, because we did see a match, I think, last year in one of the other matchroom events where we had a succession of golden breaks and we felt there was an issue with the racking. No suggestion of that here at all. It's remarkable to see 2 so close together from the same player. Well, how frustrating is this for Soufi?
Yeah, especially with the previous rack where he did have a visit. It was a tricky table layout, to be fair, but he did have an opportunity. But he's paid the price here. 2 golden breaks. This is the first one. Yeah, there you see the cue ball just comes off. Cuts the 9 in the corner.
It almost looks like it's one as a replay of another one, but I trust us, they are 2 separate bits of footage from rack 1 and rack 5. So 4-1 in extraordinary circumstances here.
Leading the match by 4 racks to 1.
So, can he get his third? Oh, no way! No way!
Wow.
And Max Lechner has completed a rare hat-trick. And all of a sudden, he leads with the help of 3 golden breaks by 5 racks to 1. Here it is, 3rd time round, and again, it's the cue ball coming across. Nineball goes into that pocket. And so Max Lechner, more than halfway to victory already.
Never looked in, did it, Michael?
No, and that's the sort of shot that has "not my day" written all over it.
Yeah, it was the previous positional shot to get on the pink 4. That's where it all started to go wrong.
Yeah, could have recovered the situation if he'd made the 5. Left it in the jaws. And there's an air of inevitability about what's going to happen next.
Yeah, let's not forget it's a winner break format. So you know, only needs a 3 or 4 pack and you can be back in these matches.
Well, Niels Feijen came from 5-1 down to win our first match this evening here in Brentwood. Mohammad Soufi was hoping this rack might be the start of him doing something similar. Instead,
wins the rack.
and his miss let Max Lechner in to stretch his lead to 6-1.
Surprised he didn't put the cue ball where Max has been making. Oh, has he made one? He
Oh,
has.
you're kidding me. And the other side,
Wow, this is
our
unbelievable.
4th golden break of the match, Carl. 1 now for Soufi, and he's right back in this contest, you know. It's 6-3.
Well, I promise you now, if you've tuned in into Nineball for the first time, this sort of stuff just doesn't happen, does it, Michael?
No, and at times in the past, as we've said, it's been because there have been question marks over how the balls have been racked. There's no suggestion of that here, simply because the cue ball keeps going off that side rail. Or in Lechner's case, the other side rail, coming across, smacking the 9 ball in the corner.
It's close, it's there. Good shot there from Mohammad. He's gonna need a good one here though. Yeah, he can pot it in the corner, but where's the cue ball gonna go? Looks awfully close to left centre. It's definitely going in that direction. Maybe it's gonna go a little bit high. Yeah, it's definitely close. He's up and down. He's played safe. Don't blame him. Good safety shot as well. Look at the speed control. Yeah, cue ball was definitely going near the centre, so he decided it wasn't for him. The bank shot looks on. Up into the top right. Got to get the cue ball out the way quick, so you don't get a double kiss. Oh, he's miscued. Wow.
Well, once he'd done that, he needed a bit of good fortune. But really, after that shot, can't really feel he deserved any. And so, Mohammad Soufi is clinging on here.
Wins the rack.
Lechner will have to wait to get to the hill. It's now 7-4.
Yeah, he's very much still in this match. He's Soufi. If he can win this rack.
Oh, but you can't stay in a match and hope to pull off any sort of a fight back like this if you're going to miss balls like that. We've seen some mistakes from both players. This might be just about the worst of the lot.
Yeah, just those building the comeback on there, Michael. Of course, the commentator's curse strikes.
And what a horrible feeling it will be if he leaves the Brentwood Centre tonight with that as his last memory from his first appearance in the World Masters. Early rounds of tournaments, in any sport really, it's all about getting through it, but Lechner will know, despite all the attention of the golden breaks, that he'll have to play a lot better in some respects if he's to challenge the biggest superstars of the game to be a contender for this title. I was talking earlier about Lechner not being in the Austria team for the World Cup. Mohammad Soufi does have that to look forward to. He'll be there representing Syria along with Mohammad Aziza. We'll see plenty more of him before then, no doubt. UK Open and Spanish Open to come in the meantime. I think overall he'll want to forget this match. He did have his own big moment, the golden break at the start of rack 9. But look at the balls they've missed when you consider how many of the racks finished off the break. It is quite a high number in the end. Soufi's miss on the 2, though, was the worst of the lot. And it looks as though it's going to prove decisive here.
Extension, please.
Lechner may just have used up his quota of good fortune for the week in this match. Most notably with those 3 golden breaks. What matters in the end, though, is that he's through to the quarter-finals of the World Masters for the 3rd year in a row. He's beaten Mohammad Soufi by 9 racks to 4.
I don't know what he can really control here. May get a kiss on the 3. Yeah, he had to know it was going to kiss. He had to add side spin to avoid the kiss.
So the tactics end abruptly with an error.
Yeah, not much here on the pink 4, just gain a little angle on the purple 5. Got away from the 6, so easy queuing. You know, and all those golden breaks that we saw, we heard Jayson in his interview kind of reference FSR and avoiding the 9 on the break with the cue ball. And you'd wonder why. And we haven't seen it yet. Maybe Max Lechner kind of scratched off the 9 once, I think, in his last match. But you flirt with the 9 coming back across, which is kind of naturally what wants to happen. It can certainly give you a golden break, but you can also lose the cue ball. So just center of the table here.
Tactical to begin with. Well, he got his opportunity. Ko, as normal. Clinical.
Fabinho wins the rack.
So, first blood is drawn.
Off the purple 5, up the right side of the 9 for a little angle on the 6.
Trying for a first here over the next few days. Players from Chinese Taipei have had so much success on the international scene, but they've never produced a world pool master.
Well, Nineball, it's tough. There's so many great players, and it's only going to get tougher from here on out. First, you got to make your place in the World Pool Masters through the World Nineball rankings. For probably about a decade or so, in my opinion, I thought they were the strongest country in 9-ball pool.
Well, what's indisputable, Ko is the strongest player in this match so far. After the safety error from Jayson Shaw in the first rack, he sat down and watched because Ko is in control, leading by 3 racks to 0. Thought for a moment he might have overcut the 5 there. It just avoided the 9 ball and went in, and now 4-0 on the cards.
Yeah, and he's had a lot of different racks so far, even though early in this match, a couple where he was perfectly in line every shot. A great safety battle between the two players in rack number 1. But this rack, a lot of grit here. He's been out of line a bit.
You want them as easy as possible, of course you do. But when you run a rack like this, it must instill even greater confidence because he's knocked in so many good balls under pressure.
Yeah, and he's like many of the greats of today's game and the game years ago, you know, it gets in that working mentality when you have a rack like this and you kind of settle in a little bit, kind of know you can handle more. And you understand that perfect position is
He wins the rack.
This is a very tough section of the... I'll tell you what, Jeremy, I like the way he's potting.
Oh, yeah. And he does totally remind me of FSR, the way they go about things, their process. Everything mental upstairs, and then really no quivering when they're down on the ball. You know what Jayson said in the interview to start? One of his biggest comebacks was against Koping Yi. I think he said he was trailing 10-4.
And that's what he'll need to hang on to here. Those good memories, those good vibes.
I'll tell you, just, you know, the true professional talked about Jayson not getting ahead of himself down 4-0, going for something bad, right? Well, even the same for Koping Yi, up 4-0. He's kept the handcuffs on Eagle Eye.
He wins the rack.
And this is entirely one-sided to the point that Jayson Shaw is yet to pot a ball.
He's just missed it. And one of the least liked close shots right here. Elevated, going to a blind pocket in the side, and especially having to hit it what looks like pretty light. Easy to hit this into the, you know, the facing nearest us as a viewer and have this ball bobble. Like that. That's exactly what wants to happen a lot, because you hit it easier so the 3 drags a little bit, kind of kicks a little bit, and just doesn't agree with that tight side pocket.
And that's just the kind of reprieve that Shaw so badly needs.
And as a player, you kind of know you have to aim that ball a little thinner, but it's almost embarrassing hitting it into the front point, it seems like, but that's kind of how you have to aim it. It's just a hard one to pull the trigger on, and now Jayson's got to get out here and get the break going. That's the perfect cue ball here. He can just pinch it out to the center of the table. Maybe a hair past it if he wants.
Eagle Eye
Shaw wins the
finally
rack.
swoops.
So stay off the rail, though.
Make sure there is no sound.
Should be okay. And this is where on the slick table you may see a little elevation of the cue, a little more of a stun shot versus your pool room table or your club table. You could just check this with a little left English. So you may see a slight elevation on the cue stick here.
Extension code.
Good thing is he's got plenty of angle. I like him striking downward on this. Doesn't have to get so ideal on the purple 5 with the green 6 near. Yeah, I think this is the smarter way to play it on the slick table.
Isn't this a lesson for every player? This is someone with abundant skills, world-class abilities, who realizes the importance of trying to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah, absolutely, and trust in the process. I talk about it all the time with people that I guarantee you on a bet, if I could just feed Steph Curry the ball, he could probably make 300 or 400 free throws in a row. But right in the middle of the game, what does he do? Takes his dribbles, goes through his process. When it means the most, these players don't get in too much of a hurry. Fell a little straight here. He's got to cheat the pocket. A little low left spin.
Powerless from his chair. The beat goes on, and I'll tell you what, Ko Pin-Yi looks very solid in all departments. When it comes to potting balls, there's been no hint of vulnerability whatsoever. He's been thoroughly dependable.
Yeah, and it seems like the tougher the shots, he's hit even better. A few of them to open and get a few racks under his belt early and really set the tone for this match. This is going to run across from nowhere, out of line on the 9.
The way he's played, you'd heavily fancy him to knock it in, but strange thing happened on 9 balls. Ooh, that wiped its feet, but it went in nevertheless. And as a consequence, Ko Pin-Yi very swiftly and very efficiently finds himself on the hill. Jayson Shaw now has to win the last 8 racks to pull this out of the fire. Tidying up of racks where it's not been straightforward, and yet he's made it look so. So, Jeremy, the question is the writing on the wall?
Well, it's there. It's just a matter if he takes it down. He's got a very simple combination on the blue 2 into the red 3. Kind of doubt, you know, if he gets that down and has position, he goes for a 4-9 combo. There is a way to play position, but we may see a quick winner. Could be a quick winner, regardless at 8-1 the score. All right, wants to ease this in. Doesn't want to get, you know, lose control of the blue 2. Okay, from this angle here, he may end up playing the 4-9, the pink 4 onto the 9. It's a little difficult to control, drawing up the rail, getting the speed and the line right. So if it's in front of you, don't argue with it. Just go ahead and take it down. Well, he's got nice and close to this as well.
again, this won't be hit very hard, but it certainly won't be babied
Extension
either.
code.
Somewhere around medium speed.
That is that. 4-9, the combination that completes this very impressive victory for Copigny. You know, over the years, we've seen him play lots of matches in matchroom events. We've seen him play well. We've seen him play nicely. I think that's the best individual performance I can remember from him in quite